guys, I'm back. We're back.
Fine, you made that shit.
It has been a minute. It's been and I do apologize for that. Been busy and stuff.
Stop the cap.
But to make it up to you guys, I'm gonna be showing y'all on how to make this. So the first transition we're going to be doing is the split cube with a cube inside transition. Now I have done this transition many times in my edits before, and well, today is going to be the day that I teach you on how to do it. It's going to be pretty easy-ish. Before you get into anything, you're going to want to open After Effects. So now that we have After Effects open, we're gonna wanna make a new composition. So for my composition settings, I'll be using my default settings, which is 1080 by 1080 and 25 FPS. Now I'm gonna name it Split Cube 3D with Cube, I guess. So now you have your composition or whatever. You're going to want to add your pictures. So let me just grab that real quick. So after adding your pictures, you're gonna need 3 of them because it's gonna be a split cube and then a cube inside. So I'm going to grab my first picture, which is gonna be this one right here. So the artist or the credits of the original picture will be up somewhere. But yeah, first of all, you're gonna want to do is scale up or just adjust your picture to how you want it. So I normally just use scale and position like so, and then pre-compose it. Actually wait, I'm gonna adjust my composition to like 4 seconds here, so let me just do that. Yep, just like that. And then now after adjusting your picture, you're gonna want to pre-compose it. So click on the layer you want to pre-compose, right click, and then pre-compose like so, and then just name it whatever you want. I'm gonna just name it 1. Click on here, move all contributes, and then tick this as well if this is not ticked. Then press OK, and there you go, you have your pre-composed image. So first, what you're going to want to do with this image is you're going to want to enable 3D and motion blur. So what this does is enables you to do 3D stuff with this layer, and then motion blur is when you add keyframes. Motion blur will happen if you do the animation, etc, etc. So first, what you're going to want to do is duplicate this layer like so. So you would just have 2 layers of 3D images. So what I do, disable the first image like so, and then now what you're going to want to do is you want to select the bottom layer, click on the square or rectangle tool like so. If it's not rectangle, then just keep pressing Q until you get the rectangle tool like so. Double click on it and it should automatically make a mask for your image like so. Then after doing that, you want to double click on the lines of the mask here like so. So just do that, and then you'll get this. Now you're gonna want to move the mask to the first half of the picture. So if you don't know how to, what I do is I click here and then proportional grid. So it enables my grids and stuff. So this is gonna be where the half of the picture is. So I just do that, drag the bottom bit to the half like so, and then there you go. Then you can turn it back off. So now you have the half of the picture. Now you're gonna want to duplicate this 3 times. Oh, not the mask, just make sure you're just selecting the layer. So 3 times like so, so you get 4 layers. Pretty weird, right? Now you want to go to over here where it says active camera, and then custom view 1. Now after that, what you're gonna want to do is you want to click on the first layer like so, and then press P on your keyboard for position. Now this adjusts the position of your layers, etc, etc. So what I do, the last value over here, because you got 3 of these. So do the third one, then change it to 540. And for the second one, press P again, last numbers, and then change it to negative 540. So you have 2 ends like so, but you also need the sides of the first half of the cube. So go to the the layer at the bottom, press R, and then change Y rotation to 90. So it flips the picture, but it's not successfully at the end. Well, on the edge, sorry. So press P on your keyboard, and you want to change the first set of numbers to 0 or 1080, which we're going to do for the last picture as well. So P, and then 1080, like so. Whoops. And then don't forget to change the rotation to 90 as well, Y rotation specifically. So now you have the first half of your cube like so. Now, if you enable the top layer, which we disabled earlier, if you remembered, enable that, press R on your keyboard, and then X rotation, change it to 90. Now, what do you do if it doesn't have the top? You could either just position it back up by changing the second value of the position to 0 or 1080, whatever you prefer. But for the top one, it will be 0. But since I'm doing a duplicate, I'm just going to do that, and then press P again, and then change it back to 540 to where it was before. Now you have all these layers, and you're like, fine, where the hell is the bottom half of the cube? Now I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. So first, go back to active camera like so it's easier for everything, and then you want to highlight these layers here. So hold over here, and then just highlight those like that. And then you want to Control E for copy, and then Control V for paste, like so. And then you can change the colors to make things more organized, which I'm going to do. And then now we're going to want to do, click on the first layer of for your bottom half, press P, and then you see this position here, change the second value to 1080, like so. And then for these, well, ignore this one, you can ignore this one actually. Actually, wait, no, you don't have to. You can just move it down to 540 where it was before. But for these layers, what you're going to want to do is press M on your keyboard like so for all of these layers, like so. And then there you go, you have your full-on cube, but it's not fully animated. So how do I animate both halves of the cube, you may ask? Well, what I do is I make a null object layer. Now, a null object layer is the controller for your layer or picture, whatever you're going to use it for. So it controls like rotation, position, etc. So first, I'm going to add a controller for I think this is the top half, yep. So enable the null object as 3D, and then highlight the top half of the cube, and then click and hold this swirly thingy-majiggy here, and then put it on null 1 like so. So if you do some rotations, it controls the top half of the cube. Do the same thing with the bottom half, add a null, enable 3D, highlight the bottom half layers, and then link them to the null like so, just as that, and then you can rotate them normally. So what if I wanted to rotate the whole cube? Now that's super easy. Click on null again, which adds technically 3 null objects, and then enable 3D. Now only link the nulls for the halves onto the whole cube null. So you can just change that by changing the name, so whole cube, and then for this one you could do like bottom half or top half, whatever you want to call it. And I'm gonna just name this top like so. So if you try and rotate it now, it rotates the whole cube just like so. So what I do is I press S, like use the controller of your whole cube, press S, and then I normally put it around 50 like so. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add a camera. So what you're gonna want to do is right click, new, and then camera like so. And then you can use these settings if you want. These are just settings I found on the internet. I'm gonna use the Departures Cam. This is technically Mink recommended, well, not recommended, but shout out to Mink and Departure for their camera setting recommendations. So I normally just use those for my edits. Then press OK. Also, this plugin here is Naughty Horn's Prime Tool. Shout out to Naughty Horn, by the way. Do get his Prime Tools plugins. It is super helpful. That's what I've been using to make my edits faster, I guess. Yeah, you have your camera. I know it's zoomed in, but if you like zoom it out more, which is probably pretty weird, you can now animate it. It's a different angle though, but if you don't like that, then just don't add a camera or whatever. Then add a light for more depth on the thing. These are Mink's light settings. You can copy those. Shout out to Mink again. And then press OK. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate the null. Well, not duplicate. We'll add another null for the cube controller because we want to do smooth, whatchamacallit, smooth animations. So enable the null in 3D like so. And then basically you can like make a smoother cube rotation. So if I just do this, sorry, that was my fault. And then just do whatever. But we are doing a split cube, so technically it's going to be a transition, right? So for the second picture, you want to add a second picture, then do all the steps that I taught you on this cube, specifically right here. Don't worry, it's easy to follow, but I'm gonna do that right now. Also, I realized that I should have like done the second cube before adding all the camera and lights, but so after doing your cubes, you should have something like this. Make sure to test the noise as well. Make sure you can control all the halves and everything. Make sure like nothing's wrong, etc, etc. Okay, and this seems fine. Yep, all the halves are like easy to like control and everything. Now, for the best part, we're doing the transition. So now what you're gonna want to do is we're gonna rotate both of these halves, but we're not rotating them the same way. We're making them rotate opposite each other. So for this one, we're going to control the bottom half of the first picture. So click on bottom, which I named bottom, and then press R on your keyboard. Make sure you're at the beginning, by the way, and then press R on your keyboard for rotation. Add a keyframe on Y rotation like this. Click on the clock and go to the end, and then you want to change it to either 180 or negative 180, whatever works for you. I'm going to do positive 180 like so, and then I could either move this forward a frame for smoothness, but I don't normally do that. Highlight these two keyframes, easy ease, by either pressing F9 or right clicking on one of the keyframes, keyframe assistant, and easy ease. Now you're gonna want to add a graph, so I'm just gonna use the normal graph for you guys, for those who don't have flow. But for those who do have flow, I could just give you my Bezier values like so, and then just like rotate it however you want. But for easier, I just use flow. I really recommend this plugin, it's really, really good. And then do the same exact thing with the second half. So R on your keyboard, rotation, Y rotation specifically, and then go to the end and then change it to the opposite value of what you added before for the top half. So before it was positive 180, now it's going to be negative like so, easy ease, and then add your graph. So since it's negative, the graphs are going to be the other way around, as you can see right here. But don't worry, just add this exact same graph and you should be fine. Never mind. Oh, there you go. I was supposed to add it like this, I forgot. Silly me. Just do it like that. It's pretty weird though, but it gets some getting used to. That's why I normally use flow. But yeah, you get something like this. But I'm just gonna use my flow graph for like smoother results. Yeah, that's fine. I'd say that's fine. So now for the other cube, you're gonna want to do the exact same thing, but instead of going to the beginning, you want to go to the end, but technically it's the beginning, so same thing. Anyway, press R on your keyboard, make sure to select one of the null controllers for the halves of the cube, and then click on Y rotation, or add a keyframe Y rotation, and then just change it to whatever value it was. So let's just say this bit was 180. You want to do this as a negative 180 because, you know, it's a transition, so you're gonna want to like do the opposite value. Then for the last keyframe, like go to the end, change it back to 0, and then make sure you've done this correctly as well, because I want to see if I've done this correctly. I don't think I did. I must have done the wrong one. Frick. Okay, So I done the bottom one first. Silly me. Let me just do the top one. So press R on the keyboard, Y rotation. You can just drag this, like instead of like rotating it and then go to the end and adding 0, just drag this keyframe to the end. That works too. And then negative 180, then easy ease, and then you'll get something like this. So for me, it's like an outgraph. So you wanna do, so since it's the end of the transition, you wanna do an outgraph. So you get something like this, which I think I did wrong. Fuck. Oh, there you go. That's a lot smoother. And move the frame forward, add the graph again, and there you go. You should get something like this. So now for the whole cube controller, I normally just do my basic cube like animation. I'm just gonna show y'all a quick little smooth, like whatchamacallit, like animation, I guess, something simple. So go to the whole cube controller, like so. Press S on your keyboard. You can scale it however you want. I'm gonna scale it around here. Let's do like 30. So now I want to add keyframe here. Let's just say this is a beat, right? I go to the beginning and then I zoom it in like so. So you get something like that. And then add an outgraph like so, because it's zooming in like so. If it's a little weird, don't worry, you can just like extend the keyframes by pressing on a keyframe and holding Alt and then dragging it. And then yeah, you can just do that. And then I'm gonna add rotation, so press R on your keyboard and then just do whatever rotation you want to do. I'm gonna just use Y rotation and then go to the end like so, rotate it like that, add an outgraph again, and then you'll get something like this, like so. So this is where the second null comes in for smoother like animation. So we're gonna do a mid-graph animation here. So go to the second null on top of the whole controller. Hopefully it's linked, make sure it's linked, which it isn't, so let me just link that real quick. Anyway, so press R on your keyboard. Wait, did I even link these? Oh wait, I'm pretty sure I did. Anyway, but go to the beginning first, then press R on your keyboard, then do whatever rotation you want to do. I'm going to use R rotation and X rotation, and then scale like so. And then don't forget to save. If you're doing this in an edit, don't forget to save. So I'm going to just do cube split. Oh. Anyway, but now let's go to the end, all the way to the end, and then press U on your keyboard to show all the keyframes that you have right now. And then once you're at the end, you can just adjust the image to however you want it. So I'm just gonna do this and this, and just do like a little zoom out maybe, like so. And then yeah, that works. Yeah, that works. I think that works. And then just use whatever mid-graph you want. I'm just gonna use this one. Looks a little weird, but it's okay. You know, whatever works. Also for this one, I'm gonna make this a little shorter. Just do that. And just put it on one like so, and then you should get something. Yeah, that's fine. Or just like extend it a little bit. Whatever works, honestly. Yeah, put it at 1. Yeah, and then for now, you want to split this cube open. So how do we do that? Now, so as I was editing this video, I realized that during the recording process, the microphone for some reason got messed up and it made this noise. So this is a voiceover version of the video because well, as already said, my microphone decided to mess up itself. But as you can see here, I'm just adjusting the position of the 2 halves of the cube. So one of the halves is going up and one of them is going down, and well, basically yeah, and then just add a mid graph, cause you know, so it can like open smoothly and everything. And then yeah, that's pretty much how you do the opening effect, as you just saw there. It's pretty easy, no need to like think much. So now we are making the cube. Now making the cube itself, just like one cube with no splitting or anything, is pretty easy. What you gotta do is get your picture, pre-compose it obviously, and then what I normally do is enable 3D and then motion blur as always, and then duplicate the layer 5 times, because you know a cube has 6 sides. And then what you're gonna want to do is you want to change the, oh yeah, I had to disable the layers just to reduce my lag. But what I do is duplicate the layer 5 times like so it gets 6 sides, and then I highlight the first 3 layers and then press A on my keyboard to enable anchor point, and then type the last set of numbers to 540, and then the bottom 3, press A again, change the last set of numbers, then negative 540, because it is doing the other side of the cube, like so as I'm showing here. And then yeah, just do negative 540, and then I change the camera view back, but you don't really have to. Okay, so now go to the second layer and then press R on your keyboard, change the X rotation to 90, and then on the bottom layer or the third layer, change Y rotation to 90. And then for the 5th and 6th layer, basically the same process, but not negatives. Don't set the numbers to negatives, keep it as 90 for all 4 layers, because we already set the anchor point to negative 540 on the bottom 3, so it'll just like do the cube for you. And also I just had to fix this bit because I failed doing the cube. So yeah, I had to do an adjustment because, you know, I forgot to add an anchor point on one of the layers. And well, yeah, that is pretty much how you do a cube. By the way, this method right here was actually from Naughty Juan. Well, I got this from Naughty Juan, so shout out to him once again, you know, one of my favorite editors out there. But yeah, that is pretty much how you add a cube. Oh, and also you want to add a null to, you know, be able to rotate it and stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So what I'm doing now is just linking the cube null to the whole cube. Now when I mean whole cube, I meant like all the split cubes and this cube in general, like just linking it to the whole cube null, you know, making sure it's all good in there. And then just trying to make sure like everything is all scaled. So as you can see here, I'm just like disabling layers, you know, seeing like, oh, if I can see all the cubes and whatnot. You know, I had to do a few adjustments, but it's pretty easy to do. You know, you just like make sure everything's good, I suppose. Not really much to say, because the graphs and everything were already done on the whole cube graph, or no, sorry. And then yep, here's me adjusting the bottom half cube, because you know it was hidden for a little bit. I don't know why, honestly, but yeah, as you can see, like the cube's already in there. Like you already see the vision of, you know, the split cubing there. And then I'm just disabling or deleting the original oh yeah, here you go, I accidentally for some reason linked one of the split cube nulls to the whole cube null, which was pretty stupid of me. But yeah, what I'm doing here is I'm just, you know, removing all the rotations on the whole cube, I meant on our third picture, and then just adjusting it, you know, making sure it looks good and all. And then just doing the animation, you know, doing scale obviously, and doing a zoom, adding a mid graph of course. And then well, that's pretty much how you do your split cube with a cube inside. I mean, this is just more adjustments, you don't really have to follow this, but I'm pretty sure you get the memo. But yeah, that's pretty much how you do it. And well, for this last part, I'm just really adding effects. I'm gonna be telling you guys the effects that I mostly use for my like 3D edits. So I mostly use you know, like deep glow and then BCC LED. Most effects were used from Mink. You know, I already shouted out Mink, so shout out to Mink once again. But I normally just like duplicate the layers, but I pre-comp everything first, and then, you know, just duplicate the layers, add some deep glow, BCC LED, motion, no, not motion, CCY time, And then, oh yeah, my computer froze for a little bit. Yeah, I just adjusted some settings, you know, added CCY time, you know, for more effect. And then pretty much that's your like good looking split cube. And well, yeah, that's pretty much how you do a AE split cube with a cube on After Effects. So that is pretty much it for today's video. I am really sorry about not uploading so much. I've just been super busy, very inconsistent, but I do promise that from now on I'll be more consistent than ever. But I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you want any more tutorials, just comment down below or just DM my socials or whatever. It'll be down in the description. And yeah, have a good day, night, wherever you are, and
So I don't know.
deuces.